Have you ever felt your peaceful suburb was actually a police state run by clipboards and passive-aggressive emails? What if the queen of your HOA wasn't just obsessed with grass length, but running something far more sinister behind those fines? And what if the woman you married had been living a double life right under your nose, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back? My name's Ryan Harper. Day, reluctant lawn warrior by dawn. In Willow Creek Estates, the biggest scandal used to be whose mailbox was the wrong shade of beige. Until Karen Delaney turned our homeowners association into her personal little kingdom. Karen, or Karen, as she insisted everyone call her with that sugary smile, wore lavender blouses like armor and wielded violation notices like medieval decrees. For the harmony of the community, she'd say, while slapping $100 fines on anyone whose grass dared grow a quarter-inch too tall or whose holiday lights stayed up one day past the approved window. I'd already tasted her wrath. Publicly shamed me at the monthly meeting for my unsightly bird feeders. Called them vermin magnets and an eyesore against community standards. Neighbors who used to wave now avoided eye contact. Ryan's bringing down property values, the whispers went. I bit my tongue, paid the fine, and watched Karen glow with that self-righteous power trip. Sophia, my wife, just sipped her iced tea on the porch and murmured, "People like her only feel big when everyone else feels small." Sophia could make anything grow and fix any gadget with a paperclip. She had this quiet way of watching Karen's little tyranny plays without ever raising her voice. "Power gets lazy when no one pushes back," she'd say casually, like it was gardening advice. I thought it was just her Zen vibe. That morning started normal, watching the sprinklers dance. Then the black van rolled up, no police lights, just HOA enforcement in official-looking letters. Two burly guys in tactical vests that looked suspiciously new jumped out yelling compliance violation, major breach of covenants. Before I could set my mug down, they had Sophia. She didn't scream or fight. The eyes and gave one deliberate wink as they shoved her into the van. The tires screeched and rolled away like it was trying to escape too. The neighborhood went dead silent except for wind chimes and my pounding heart. I dialed 911 with shaking hands. The dispatcher listened, then got weirdly quiet. "Sir, we've had complaints about unauthorized enforcement teams in your area. Officers are en route." Unauthorized? The van was already gone down the service road behind the clubhouse, the one Karen had closed for maintenance weeks ago. That's when our smart home panel pinged. Garden trowel pulsing. I tapped it. The bookshelf in Sophia's craft room slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a hidden space. Inside, a locked case, a burner phone, and a letter in her handwriting. "Ryan, if you're reading this, they've taken me. Don't panic. I couldn't tell you before, operational security. I'm not who you think. Reactivated for Willow Creek. The HOA is a front. Trust no one completely. Especially not the board. I love you. There's a laptop in the case." My brain short-circuited. Sold handmade planters on Etsy, but then memories clicked. How she always knew too much about random neighbors, how she never flinched at Karen's power trips, how she could hack our router in 10 minutes just for fun. The laptop booted to my face. Maps of Willow Creek with hidden cameras marked. Financial trails showing HOA fees siphoned to offshore accounts. Karen's real background, Daniela Voss, former associate of shady security firms. Paid enforcers on the payroll. Money laundering disguised as community improvements. Even hints of witness intimidation through selective enforcement. The burner phone had one number. "Harper, this is Reyes from Sophia's team. Beacon activated. Can you confirm the van direction?" I told her everything. Task. Visually signal neighbor Eleanor, the quiet rose lady 2 doors down. Using a specific watering pattern Sophia had once taught me as a silly game. Eleanor turned out to be Rose, another asset. Her cozy living room hid monitors and gear. Sophia's extraction needs the clubhouse security grid down. You're our cleanest play. No one suspects the guy Karen already painted as the neighborhood slob. Take this drive. The maintenance shed. Hard hammering. I slipped across backyards, dodging the absurd 6-foot fence rules Karen enforced like sacred law. The shed smelled of fertilizer and secrets. I picked the lock like Sophia had shown me during date night practice. USB in. Green light. Back home, Karen showed up on my lawn flanked by her goons, all fake sympathy. Ryan, dear, we need to discuss Sophia's numerous violations. For community safety, of course. Her smile could curdle milk. I played dumb. Rage and awe mixed in equal parts. The text came fast after. Tonight is cover. Be the annoying question guy at 8 p.m. sharp. Extraction in progress. The absurdity hit when I sat in my living room, burner phone buzzing mission updates while my normal life tried to resume. Karen had already started the rumor mill. Sophia abandoned me over financial issues. Neighbors gave pitying looks mixed with judgment. I smiled through it, remembering every petty fine she'd hit me with. Patience. The tools I'd learned from years of her bullying. By evening, the clubhouse was packed for the emergency budget review. Karen stood at the podium in full tyrant mode, lavender blouse crisp, clipboard raised like a scepter. These unexpected costs are for enhanced security. To protect us all from disruptive elements. I stood up, voice steady. $15,000 for infrastructure upgrades in the basement. Care to explain what exactly we're installing? The community deserves transparency, right? Her mask slipped for half a second. Pure venom flashed before the sweet smile returned. Just standard improvements, Ryan. Please sit down. That's when the lights flickered. Chaos. In my earpiece, Reyes whispered, hold position. Then the stage floor cracked open. Utility tunnel like an avenging ghost, dirt streaked, but eyes sharp, baton in hand. Karen lunged with a pink stun gun pulled from her designer purse, screaming about trespassers. Sophia moved like liquid, blocked, twisted, and dropped Karen hard onto the floor with a satisfying thud. The clipboard skittered away. You fraud, Sophia muttered. The room exploded. The room exploded into pandemonium. Karen's two bored cronies fumbled for their phones like they were reaching for weapons, but a burly mailman I'd only known as Walter the Grumpy Guy moved like a pro, disarming them clean. Easy there, folks, he growled. Another neighbor, the dog walker Sam who always complained about my feeders, suddenly looked sharp. He'd triggered the localized blackout perfectly. Sophia stood over Karen, who was wheezing on the laminate floor, her perfect lavender blouse now wrinkled and her power fantasy shattered. You thought fining people for tomato plants and wrong-colored flags would cover laundering money through fake security contracts forever? Sophia said, voice cold but edged with that dry wit I knew so well. Karen spat back, this is outrageous. You're violating every covenant. I'll have you all fined into oblivion. Even on her back, the woman tried to clutch her precious rulebook. The irony was delicious. The queen of nitpicky tyranny taken down by the very disruptive elements she hated. Imagine the woman who once fined me $300 for a non-regulation American flag now lying there while the crowd she bullied for years started to chuckle. Dark humor at its peak. Her pink taser, chosen to match the blouse aesthetic, skittered uselessly under a chair. Reyes' team flooded in through the tunnel. Real feds, not the rent-a-cops Karen hired to play dress-up. Handcuffs clicked. Cowed by monthly violation lists, started murmuring. Then cheering. Frustration over ridiculous rules. No flags on certain holidays. Gardens only aesthetically approved. Christmas lights limited to tasteful white only, boiled over. One lady yelled, what about my $300 fine for bird bath too close to the sidewalk? The laughter that followed had a sharp, bitter edge. Black humor at its finest, the tyrant exposed while surrounded by the petty victims she'd tormented. I caught a neighbor's eye, the same guy who'd crossed the street to avoid me last month, and we shared a silent, finally nod that felt like pure payback. In the days that followed, the investigations peeled back the layers. Karen, real name Daniela Voss, had turned Willow Creek into a cash cow. Inflated landscaping contracts funneled to shell companies, security upgrades that were really surveillance on anyone who asked questions. The same HOA that fined me $250 for unsightly solar path lights had been skimming thousands. Neighbors who'd shunned me for not fitting community standards now apologized over backyard beers. We were idiots, Ryan.
I didn't gloat. But watching Karen get let out in County Orange instead of pastel was pure satisfaction. Her face when the local news ran the headline, HOA president exposed in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme, priceless. The woman who lectured us about values and harmony turned out to value offshore accounts more. Every ridiculous fine she'd slapped on lawns, flags, and feeders now looked like the pathetic cover it always was.
Higher up, a slick operator named Marcus showed up claiming regional oversight. Tried to spin it as isolated. But Sophia's files, plus the evidence we'd gathered, buried him too. Public records, leaked financials, even those absurd violation logs became proof of selective enforcement to silence whistleblowers. I got to stand at the next meeting, now without fear, and read out clauses from the bylaws that she'd conveniently ignored while pocketing cash. Transparency for all, I said, echoing her own fake speeches. The room erupted again, this time with applause that drowned out any lingering fear. Somehow, I ended up nominated as interim president. The irony tasted sweet. The covenants to sanity. No more fines for laughing too loud or having a vegetable patch. Maintenance and actual safety only, the new rules stated. It passed unanimously. Block party, with unrestricted string lights, flags flying proudly, and 0 clipboards in sight. Burgers, potato salad, and people finally talking like neighbors instead of suspects. The black humor lingered in every toast. To the bird feeders that started it all. Sophia got to stay local for monitoring. We sat on the porch swing nights later, the chains creaking familiarly. I should have told you, she said softly. Rules were rules. That meeting. I knew we'd be okay. I squeezed her hand. Next time, we carry the weight together. No more solo spy games in our backyard. The trust rebuilt stronger, forged in absurdity and gunfire. 3 weeks later, a moving truck pulled into the house that had sat empty since Karen's second-in-command vanished. A tall woman in a trench coat stepped out, scanning the street with cool calculation despite the warm weather. Aviators hiding her eyes. Sounded like Eastern European tones. Coincidence, I muttered from our kitchen window. Sophia joined me, drying a dish with deliberate calm. Keep the new porch cam rolling tonight. The suburban dream looked peaceful again. Sprinklers hissed, kids biked, dogs barked. But we knew better now. It just changes addresses. The real victory wasn't just taking down one Karen. It was neighbors learning to question, to organize, to laugh at the absurdity instead of cowering. The HOA that once felt like a boot on our necks became what it should have been, a boring committee about potholes and pool hours. Look, after all this, here's the takeaway. Petty tyrants like Karen thrive when we let fear of silly rules silence us. Arm yourself with patience, facts, and good neighbors. Strike when they're not looking. Leave battling the system, buy them better coffee, and ask how you can help carry the load. Real community beats control every time. Until next time, keep your lawns free, your eyes open, and your porch light on for the right reasons.